So I might as well video this. This is Brad's saw, and this came via mail to the Connecticut get-together, and I have his permission to open this, to pop the top and see what's underneath the hood. So let's do that, maybe even get some timing numbers, and see exactly what he did to it. There's a very nice shape 340, and of course he did all kinds of wonderful stuff to it. The one thing that drives me a little crazy is the front adjuster, whatever you want to call it. And the other thing I noticed it's not on here is a metal chain catcher. I know that these saws have the plastic one, but it's nice to put the metal one on there too. Obviously this saw has seen very little use, if any. The chain catcher here is not even marked at all. So a really nice shape saw overall, and it ran the best out of all of them, which is not a surprise. I'll go over my 350 challenge here in a bit, but this saw ran the best out of all the 350s, or that class of saw, probably mostly because it has a high compression number. So let's check the compression first. I do see a B. Usually you'll see a 44.3 or a 42 here. Kind of tight on the case. He probably had to do some modification there. Just for the record, the muffler is quite open, with no spark screen on this one. The muffler is in fact very open underneath there. This does not look like the usual 350 muffler. I assume that this is the 357 intake track or 359 intake track, because that way you have a flocking on top and on the bottom, I guess, so better flow. Now, normally I would not take apart a saw that is running this well. I wouldn't do it. It's not me. When you get a saw running good, leave it. But he wanted me to take this apart, so okay. So let's get a compression number. Wow. So about 175 is what I saw. This is leaked down just a little bit, but about 175 is where the compression's at. I did expect it to be a little bit higher than that. Let's take this apart some more. Handle first. Yes, Brad, I'm going to deliver this to you in a box in pieces. I'll let you put this back together. One of the differences between the 340s and the 350s is this plastic handle. The 350s have a metal handle. I'll be honest, I kind of like the plastic handle. I think it's fine. It's got a little bit of a cheap feel to it, but you know, it's fine. going to pop the muffler off here. I would suggest to anybody running these saws to have some type of a bracket to support the muffler so that these don't loosen quite as easily. It's a long lever arm here on the muffler and it will tend to work these loose. Other than this modification and no spark screen, I don't see any mod here. No port matching or anything like that. Let's have a look a little closer. That looks good. Well, it looks like it's all nicely matched, but the muffler itself does not look like it's been ground on. I don't know. Pretty good polishing there on the cylinder. No scoring on the piston. Let's take the starter cover off. These parts are in beautiful shape, so I really don't want to mess them up. Gas line off. This is where ball end Allens come in handy. One carb screw. One, two. There it comes. That's interesting. I have to go look at the replay on that, but Brad, it looks like your gasket wasn't even on straight. Anyway, carburetor. Limiters are trimmed. This is the EL42. So this is the carburetor that typically comes with a 357 XP. So let's put the degree wheel on it and see where that lands us. Actually, let's do some other things. Let's check squish. Why not? Again, this is typically not me. I would not recommend pulling apart a saw that ran as good as this one did, but I think there's a line over at the edge of the piston. I get an 18,000 squish on that. It does look like, by the shape of this coming out, it does look like there's a pop-up in here. $18,000 squish on that side. So, pretty tight. Pretty tight. Now that we have squish checked, let's check timing numbers. Go. No base gasket. Looks like he's got Loctite 515 or 518 on there. Don't know which. Key is intact. It does not appear, the key does not appear to be messed with or monkeyed with, so I don't think he's changed the timing on this. Nope, timing has not been changed. Half. 39.5. Good. So now we have this balanced. Top dead center. Now we get timing numbers. Somewhere around there. So he's got 90, 100, 105, 106. I got a 106 timing. Let's see what he's got for intake timing. Right about there. Looks like 80. A little past. So that's 80. About, that's pretty good measurement. And then transfers. Now these are always hard to see. The transfers are at about there, which is roughly 120, 122, 121, somewhere in there, 122. So 106, 122, 80 is the timing. And now I guess we can pop the cylinder off. It does look like he has Loctite on the bolts. That's good. Right. Just pop the top. Yeah, sure. Go. there you have it, folks. Here it is. So as compared to what I do, it's actually fairly similar. Brad's a little more practiced at this than I am. So, let's see if we can see in here. Pretty nice grinding, if you ask me. Kind of like he's done it before, you know? Yeah, this is definitely the 357 intake tract. So one thing... Okay, so that's the exhaust. It's pretty wide on the exhaust. Not very square looking. It definitely brings the upper transfers back towards the exhaust further than I do. I think he grinds in the tunnels a little bit more too. In fact, quite a bit more. The intake, however, is very square. And quite wide, in fact wide enough right out to the edges of where the skirt might go. Very interesting. None of this really surprises me, except for one thing that kind of surprised me a little bit is the shape of the exhaust. Much more oval in shape than I would expect at the edges. But whatever. Over here, looking at this, is the bearing cap is really significantly hogged out. More so even more so than I usually do. But he did put a channel here for the impulse, so that's at least interesting. And of course we do have a pop-up. So looking at this, seems fine to me. I'll check and see how much of a pop-up it is. This is not a great way of measuring this, but were you going for a 40 thousandths pop-up here, Brad? Just checking. About how wide? You're gonna machine it. You machine these about 280 wide, 275, 280. There you have numbers. Pretty much all you really needed to know about a Brad saw. Brad, thank you for letting us take this apart and have a look at it. And I'm going to ask your permission before I post this video. Oh, not everything we wanted to know. Let's check one other thing. because sometimes these are 42 millimeter and sometimes they're 44.3. .44 something. So this has got to be a 44.3 cylinder head, which means this indeed is an OEM new edition 346 XP. Just happens to be a B version rather than any other version. Again, Brad, thank you for letting me do this and showing people what you do. And thank you for sending the saw, of course, to the Connecticut get-together. I think everybody really enjoyed it and all that stuff. If you have any comments, please send them to me. And of course, I'll always ask your permission before I post something like this. That is yours. I'm going to send this back to you in a box, and I'm going to let you reassemble this because I don't really want to mess with your stuff, especially if somebody else is going to purchase this saw off of you. So, this looks very pretty. Definitely commendable. And I'll take this and learn from it. I think a lot of other people can learn from this too. So, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.